Hi all, welcome to Guide Coaching Classes. My name is Mozam Ali and today we are going to revise what we have learned into our previous session, that is the built-in functions for date. We have seen about the date timestamp, the first function which we have seen, that is current timestamp. Then we have seen about the date add, then we have seen about date diff. So what is current timestamp? So when we write current timestamp, it will give us the current date time of that particular system. And we can get it with the minutes, hours and milliseconds. Then we have date add. So if we have two dates at the time, we if we I'm sorry, if we have one date and we want to forecast it for the future dates, or we want to check the previous past dates, at that time we can do addition and minus or into days, into months and into years. We can subtract the months, subtract the date, subtract the years, subtract the days using date add function. Then we have date diff. So if we have two dates and we want to get the difference, at that time we will use date diff function. It will give us the date difference into the months, into the days, into years and into quarters and so on. We can get the difference. Then we have learnt about the date format from parts. So if we have different parts of date and we want to collaborate and we want to get a single date, at that time we will use date from parts function and it will give us the single date. Then we have date name. So this date name function mostly used when we want to get the name of that particular month on the basis of the number, or we know whenever we, like, suppose we have an example where we want to get the first month's name. So we will write get name, and at that time sorry, date name, and at that time we will get January as a first month from the particular date. Then we have learnt about date part. So if we have a single date where we have DDMMYY and we want to part it into different parts, so at that time we can use date part. Then we have the day. If we have given a date and we want to get the day out of that particular date, at that time we will use, similarly we can use month and year. Then we have get date. So in get date, what it does is it gives us the current date, which is today's date. So if we want to get today's date, at that time we will use get date. Then we have get UTC date. So this get UTC date is universal coordinated time, which gives us the universal UTC time. And if we want to get the if we want to check whether the given date is a date or not, so at that time we will use isDate function. It will gives us 0 or 1 as a value if it is a date or not. Okay, then we have seen about month, and then we have seen about system date. So system date works as similarly as current timestamp. It will give us the current today's date, the system's date, and then we have seen about the year. So now moving on to our next topic, that is what are built-in string functions. So string functions are basically those functions which are operated on two particular strings or a set of characters or array of characters. So the first function which comes in as ASCII. So at ASCII, what is does is, or what exactly ASCII is, so whenever we enter any alphabet or any letter into computer, so computer does not understand what is A, what is B. It understands the ASCII values. So current computer converts that particular ASCII value into computer converts those letters into ASCII values and then stores it. So if we want to check any characters or any letters ASCII value, at that time we will use ASCII function. And then if we want to use the we want to convert it the ASCII value to a character, at that time we will use character. This is directly opposite of the ASCII function. Character, if we want to convert the ASCII to character, we will use character, and if you want to convert character to ASCII, we will use ASCII. Then on the similar line we have NCHAR. It also works as a character, where we will take the ASCII value and it will give us the actual letter or that particular character. Then moving on to our next function, that is character index. So what it does is it takes two parameters. The first one is a desired letter and then the string. So if I have a string as employee and I want to identify what exactly the O into employee at index, so in O's index, so at that time I will write O into the desired index, desired letters, and then I will write the string that is employee, and it will find out the index of that particular letter. Okay, now moving on, we have concat. So concatenation, what it does is simply it attaches or it combines two different strings to a single string, and we can get it. So we have different functions, or we have different ways to do it. So we will quickly go and we will check it. So if you can see my screen, the first one, I will explain you the ASCII value. So if you can see on the screen, I have already executed this command. So if you see, the small and capital A both has different ASCII values. That's why they are not same for computer. They are same for us, but it is not same equal for the computer. So we have capital A as 65 and small a as 97. You can see it here. Okay, now we have moving on to our next function, that is character. Character and nchar are same. So if I execute, so 65, we know that capital A is a 65. So if I execute this, I will be getting A. If I execute this, it will give me B. Okay, so if I go and if I execute this, it will give me B. Okay, so now moving on to our next function, that is character index. So as I explained you, I have a desired letter and I want to find the index into a particular string. So this is my particular string and this is my desired character. So now I want to find what is index of E. So here it will start searching from this, and it found that particular E is at the first location. It won't go here and it won't find these two E. It will find and it will stop it here. So if I execute this, it will give me 1. So if I go and if I change it to O, it will give me as 5. 2 4 5. Yes, it will give me 5. See, that's how it works. Character index, that's how it works. Okay, now concat. So concatenation basically concats to different strings. So here I have here I have guide coachings, comma, and dot com is one another string. So if I execute this, I will get guide coaching dot com. We can do this simply by using plus sign into the single quotes. We will put all the strings into single quotes. Whenever we are dealing with strings, we will write them into single quotes, and then we will add them. So if I want to concatenate, I will write simply a plus sign, and that will be added to the uh, it will concatenate the string which is given. So that's how it concatenates. So if I remove this, and if I execute this, it will be guide coachings. That's how it works. Then we have concatenation with separator. So this is concat underscore ws, that is with separator. So what it does is I want to separate every string with dot. So what I will do, I will write that particular separator over here, and I will give all the strings which I want to concatenate, but it will add full stop after every string. So if you see www.guidecoachings.com, that's how it works. Then we will go to our next function, that is data length. So data length is basically whenever we give any string to data length function, what it does is it counts the length of that particular string and it gives us the length of that particular string. Then we have the difference. So difference is simply takes two expressions and it compares this function compares the sound x value. Now we have learnt about the index value. Now here the sound x value, that how they sounds, if they sounds if they sounds equally or exact match is found, at that time it will give you as a 4, as a rating. You can consider 4 as a exact match and 0 as a zeroth match, like they does not have any relation into the words. So that's how it works. In if you can see the description, it is written 0 indicates a weak or no similarity between the sound X value, and 4 indicates the strong similarity or identically sound X values. So now moving on to our next example, that is format. So format contains three parameters. First one is value, second one is format, and third one is culture. So over here, two are required. One, the first one is format is required. Sorry, the value is required. Then format is also required, and culture is sometimes it's optional. So you can use it or you can ignore it. Okay. So now we will go to our practical window and we will see how it works. So we have learned the first function, that is data length. So if you go and if you execute this, it will count the length of that particular string which is given. So here if you can see, we have the string which is of 5 length, so it should give 5. That's how it works. Then we have difference. So it will if I execute Jack and Juicy, so it is similar to similar to the first one, so that's why it is giving as 4. And Jack and Moonlight Happy is not so similar, so it is giving as 1. That's how it works. Then we have learned about the format. So how format function works. So basically the basic example I have given here is I have taken numbers from 1 to 9 and I have separated them with hash keys and hyphens. So hash keys are reflecting the numbers and hyphens is declaring the spaces between them. That's how I want to format it. So now what is the practical use of it or practical application of it? See, whenever we are adding or storing a phone number, at the time we store that phone number and we store it like separated country code separated with hyphen, and then we store the first three numbers, then hyphen, then second three numbers, and then rest of the four numbers with hyphen. So that's how they are stored. So you can use that type of formatting at the time whenever you are creating any database where you are taking any input as a any recovery key, any employee ID, or anything like phone number, or with with the country code. So that way you can format it. The formation the formatting is done with this format function. Now I have given the example where I have not used the third parameter, but here I have used the third parameter. So if you see, my first parameter is value, then second is the first value is 1, then second is p, and then I have written ENI India. So here I am taking the percentage in Indian format. So how it is going to be displayed. So that's how it displays. Okay. So now that is how format works. You need to go and you need to search for more examples and you need to learn about it. Ultimately, I will be explaining it whenever we are going to declare, whenever we are going to learn about the variables and how to declare variables into the SQL functions. At that time into the SQL, at the time we will discuss it about. Okay, then we have left and then we have right. So what left and what right is, so whenever we want to start counting from left side, at the time we will use left, and whenever we want to start printing from the right side, at the time we will do right function we will use. So if you see, in my first function, I have written as select left guide coaching by 5. So now this left, it starts from left. So it should start from left. So it will start from here. Okay. If it will start from here, GUIDE, it will execute this and it will give me the result guide. Okay. You can see it gave me a result as guide. Now, if I want the execution should start from, or the printing should start from here, I will write as select right welcome guide coaching, and then I will give the index. So whatever index I will give, it will, count till that particular number, and it will start from the here, from the right side of that particular string. So it will go and it will execute this. So it will give me, the first one will be give me guide, and the second one will give me coaching. That's how it works. Now simply the length. So if I want to calculate length of any particular string, at that time I will use simple function, that is len, and it will give me the length. So if I increase it, I will get the length increased. See, that's how it works. Then we have the, second functions. We have seen about left, then we have seen about right, then we have seen about length. Now we will see about lower. What is lower? And so simply lower is something, some function where, we have a string and we want to convert that particular string into a lower case. At that time we will use lower. And similarly, if we want to convert any particular string to an uppercase, at that time we will use uppercase. Then we have LTRIM and RTRIM, so left trim and right trim. So whenever we have some space at the left, we will trim that using left trim, and whenever we have some spaces at the right side of the string, at that time we will use right trim. So we will go and we will check this. So we have seen about len. Now we'll go and we'll see about lower function. So how lower works, I've shown you. I will just execute this. So that's how lower works. So it converted the string into lowercase. See here, SQL tutorial is fun. It converted into complete lower string, and here it is converted completely into capital string or uppercase. Okay, then we have LTRIM and right trim. So if I have left trim, that means at the left, if any spaces are there, it will trim out that. So if I give this space over here and if I execute this, it will trim out the left side. If I execute this, it will trim out the right side spaces if there are. So if I put like this, it won't, change my output. It will be same. Okay, so that's how left trim and right trim works. Now we will be moving on to our last, function for today, that is PATINDEX. So what exactly PATINDEX? So here we identify the pattern, and then we, identify the index of that pattern. So you must have gone through my previous video where we were discussing about the wildcard characters. So here also we are using those wildcard characters, and here the pattern is, surrounded by these percentage sign. if we are if we want to search for any particular one character, at that time we will use underscore. If we want to, search it for any particular block of characters, at that time we will write square brackets. And if we want to, match any other character apart from this bracket, we'll write these into square brackets with the cap sign. Okay, so now we will see the example first. Then here, if you see, I have taken three examples. So here I have pat index s, and then comma, sorry, percentage s, percentage com, percentage. So it will search for s first, and then it will search for com. So if I execute this, I found s into my, into my string, and com later. So what it does, it returns me the index of that particular character. So I was searching for s first. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 and 14. At the 14th place s is placed. Okay, so now I have taken the example of ol. So now I am searching for ol. Ol is not there, so what I will do, I will change it to oa. Okay, so now 1 2 3 4 5 6. At seventh place OA is placed. So it should place 7. That's how it works. It counts from the left side and it goes till the desired string and it gives the index. Okay, now I'm searching for Z, Z. I'm searching for Z into this string, but Z is not present into the string. So it will go and it will search all the string, all the way from right to left, and then it won't find that particular string and it will give me as a zero result. That's how it works. So that's all for today. If you have any questions regarding the built-in functions, we don't worry, we will be covering some more functions into string, and we will be seeing the applications later. This is just an introduction to basics of the SQL, so that you are aware about the basic functions and you can imply them whenever required, and you can find some more examples on it. So I request you to please practice these functions by your own, and if you get any difficulties or any challenge, please ping me or please write to me. Thank you.